from the Miami Herald, Dolphins beat writer Omar Kelly. Omar, happy Sunday, by the way.
Yes, it's Sunday, but this is a work day for me, as most Sundays will be
I want to,
during the season.
before we get into the weeds of everything, what are your overall takeaways from today's practice with the Miami Dolphins? What are some things that stood out, and maybe some things that didn't maybe tickle your fancy so much?
Very physical practice, as they've gone 4 days in pads, had 4 days of physical practices. Been very impressed with Patrick Paul most of those 4 days. Today, Bradley Chubb kind of came alive and was one of my top performers. A sack, third. They were in a red zone situation. I believe it was a 3rd and 6 for Tua. No, 3rd and 8 for Tua. And Bradley Chubb delivers a sack, a play after delivering a 1-yard loss for Devon Achane. They were in a backed up period. Mike Hilton, the nickel cornerback, he produced a safety with a tackle on Jaylen Wright. That was after the offensive line had 2 pre-snap penalties that backed them up to the half-yard line. But it's good to see that the defense was stout, especially Mike Hilton, who was added after Cater Coho went down. And today ended a 9-practice streak of Tua Tagovailoa not throwing an interception. It was a goal line situation. He was throwing to the edges. I don't know who he was targeting, but Minka Fitzpatrick stepped right in front of it and produced an interception that would have been a pick six if Tyreek Hill didn't run him down all the way down the field. Now, I don't know if Minka was fully sprinting, but Tyreek must have run a 22-mile-an-hour speed. He was jetting down the field, and it really set a tone for what Tyreek is trying to show and the example he's trying to make to this team.
Omar, I'm kind of critical on Tyreek because a lot of the things he's saying is like that song. I've heard it. I've heard it all before.
You've heard it before.
Yeah, I've heard it all before.
He was late to practice again today after saying earlier this week he wasn't going to be late anymore.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Are we at the point where we're not just gonna believe anything that he says out of his mouth?
I've been there. Been there.
And it's all about what's done on the field. And as long as he could produce on the field and get back to what he was 2-3 years ago, and just try to limit the craziness or the antics, then everything would be okay.
I don't know if everything will be okay. If they win, it'll be okay. If they lose, it's going to be tragically bad. I wouldn't be shocked if he's traded by the trade deadline. I mean, we've gotten to the point where we know Tyreek is a habitual liar. And he doesn't mean ill will towards this, but Tyreek just be talking. Earlier this week he said he didn't know the offense for the first 3 years. Come on.
Yeah, like Omar, he says this is what it's getting to it's just tiresome now. He says he
learned the offense from Madden previously. What
he also said, what did he say? He said he's gonna take it for the first time in 10 years, he's gonna take football serious.
Yeah.
But then the other day
he meant that. Yeah.
But then the other day he's like, I need to get back to old Tyreek. So which one is it?
Tyreek is going to be himself, which is basically a troll. So, Tyreek likes attention, and Tyreek's a troll.
But somebody
you just gotta deal with it.
But at some point it gets tiresome. I think it got tiresome in Kansas City, and also this is why I give Tua credit. To that statement Tua made a week ago or 10 days ago about when he was asked about the Tyreek. It was a very diplomatic answer, but it was also diplomatic with letting people know he still got ways to go. He still got to earn the trust, not only with me, but with the other 51 teammates that he has.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem to me that it might have run it like Tyreek took it to heart or anything like that. He might say something on camera to you guys, but then it's something different.
Tyreek knows there's an issue, and I don't know how serious the issue is amongst his teammates, especially if he's scoring touchdowns. The other day, you saw Jaylen Waddle jumped into his interview on the NFL Network, and Tyreek was basically like, and Jaylen Waddle was trying to troll him, and then Tyreek started talking about all I'm focused on is being your best friend, and then Jaylen just sprinted off the set because he didn't want to talk about it, he didn't want to get into it. I've heard about the Tua and Tyreek beef going back to the off season. It's I get to the point where even though I'm media, I just ignore Tyreek.
Okay.
And it's not should I have to? No, but I think Mike McDaniels is at the point where he just ignores Tyreek.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Let's look for a solution. Is there a realistic
No,
way?
there's not a realistic solution because you're asking him to be somebody that he's not.
No, I'm saying this. Jaylen Waddle, we've heard, has worked with Tua Tagovailoa all offseason. They're really on a different level together. Jaylen Waddle's been more vocal. He seems like he's carrying himself in a different way. Is there a way that this year Jaylen Waddle could overtake Tyreek as wide receiver number one, and then possibly whatever else might follow from that?
It's possible, but and there is a greater level of chemistry with Tua, but Tyreek is a freak of nature, man. I've never seen anybody move and play like him in my life, and it cannot be ignored. I think about all the antics that Tyreek created, does, and the team just looked the other way because they're like, damn, he's a hell of a player, and we got a better chance of keeping our jobs with Tyreek here on this team. And the truth of the matter is, everybody knows he doesn't mean harm, but they'll say he's just being Tyreek, and I get it because he doesn't mean harm, and he's a good guy, and it's nothing malice, nothing. He's not trying to be harmful, but he's just a troll.
But after a while, it
gets annoying.
It gets annoying. Omar, let me ask you this.
But when he scores touchdown, you'll be all right with it, right?
Absolutely.
Right. But then, I mean, that's why I wanted that. I mean, piggyback off Dan's question. Do you think offensively, it's always been said that the offense is too Tyreek centric?
Yeah. No, I don't know. People wanted to get back to it last year.
But do you get back to it now? If you get back to it Tyreek centric and he's putting up the numbers, that means you got to deal with all the the nonsense.
You're dealing with it anyway because he's here for 1 year. They're not a chance they'll honor his contract next year because he's on the books for $40 million. So this is probably Tyreek's last year with the Dolphins unless they restructure the contract.
So going back to that point, the question that Dan asked, what if Jaylen shows a progress? So that shows that he's
that's great. And Jaylen's a good receiver, but he's not Tyreek. Tyreek, let's put this in perspective. Before last season, Tyreek was on pace to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
No, he still is. He's
still on projection to be a Hall of Famer, not first ballot right now.
I don't know. I mean, Omar, he's got 1,100 yards.
He never had a blemish on his resume until last season.
Right, but if he's gonna be a Hall of Famer. That goes without saying. What I'm looking at.
No. You cannot say that because there are a lot of great receivers who are not in the Hall of Fame. He has to produce at least 3 more seasons.
He's got 2 more
1,000-yard seasons.
I think he can do that easily. I mean, he's at 11,000.
Do you know?
He's at 11,500 right now. If he puts 2 1,500-yard seasons, he's going to be nearly at 14,000, 15,000. So I think that's the 14,000 is the criteria. And with the Super Bowl rings, and he'll be in. Maybe you might be right, no first ballot. But this is a question I want to ask. O-line continuity is very key for me. And it seems to me that they're trying to establish their O-line to be a dominant force so that they can run the ball and not put the ball into his hands all the time. Telling me about, you saying Patrick Paul, once again, it's been having a great practice. Can you talk about the O-line and the continuity and the chemistry that they have and the running attack of Ollie Gordon, Jalen Wright, and of obviously Devon Achane is going to have more of a more significant role in the offense?
They were making a lot of progress, especially in the padded practice. There's more of a push to become a more physical team. I see the improvements that James Daniel has on the offensive line. Unfortunately, they lost Austin Jackson to what is a lower leg injury. He's going to be out all off season. I mean, all training camp, all exhibition season. That's going to set them back. They're going to have to work on chemistry when they begin the season. But their starters are good. Their backups are bad, and to the point where Liam Eichenberg would clearly be the top backup at all 5 spots. So, take that for what you want.
That's not a good thing.
No. But they've been running more physical. They had some short yardage situations, and they did very well during the short yardage situations. They today was not good because they gave up a safety, and they've been penalized a little bit too much. But I see the progress being made. We won't really truly know until we get to the exhibition season.
Omar Kelly, let's real quick address the elephant in the room, the secondary. We know Jack Jones has very good talent, but sometimes doesn't put it all together. We heard Storm Duck, Mike McDaniel just sang his praises. Mike Hilton is a pro. Cam Smith, I don't even want to worry about. Can you kind of rank the top 4 from number 1, 2, 3, and 4 when it's going to be coming to cornerback and in that secondary? Not so much the safeties, but the cornerbacks that we're working with right now with the Miami Dolphins.
In my stock report for the Miami Herald, I have it's focused on Storm Buck because he's locked in as a starter. Write his name in pen. Now, how well will he perform? I have absolutely no idea. Number 2 is Kenneth Sheffield. Number 3 is probably Jack Jones, Ethan Bonner. Mike Hilton is probably the top nickel guy. He really had an impactful day-to-day. I think I mentioned him as a stock up. I thought he was really competing for that nickel spot with Cornell Armstrong till you really saw the impact that he makes. I mean, when I say it was a physical tackle on Jalen Wright, you remember Madden hit stick?
Yeah.
Yeah, the smallest player on the team gave Jalen Wright a hit stick. It was quite impressive to watch. Very physical player. So I guess the Dolphins are clearly pacing him. But right now, that's my top 5. Probably Cornell Armstrong would be 6. Jason Marshall Jr. makes the team because of practice squad. I mean, because he's a draft pick. Cam Smith, I think they're done with him.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, yeah. I mean,
I think they're moving on.
I don't blame them.
All right. Well, last question for me, Omar. Oh, D-line, the front 7. How's it looking? Because that's pretty much where, if there's anything if there's going to be any strength for the defense, it's going to be that front 4 getting to the quarterback. How are they looking? And can they add any more in the secondary? Because I know somebody on our YouTube and Twitch asked, like, what's going on? Why haven't they reached out to Asante Samuel Jr.? What's going on with that?
They're good. They're good with where they are from a secondary standpoint. I think they'll comb the waiver wire when teams pare down their roster to 53. Keep in mind, they're probably going to be 40 unemployed cornerbacks in early September. You could pick from that as opposed to picking from somebody who's been out of work. They also will have opportunity to bid big on veterans that don't have to go through the waiver wire claim. So if a team wants to get rid of a guy because his salary isn't ideal, they could do that. But they're going young. So these guys, they are it. You could get in your feelings about it, but this is where they are from a secondary standpoint. In terms of the front 7, yeah, they're gonna have to hold this team down. I don't really see a weakness on the front 7. They've got 3 very good pass rushers. They've got 3 very good inside linebackers. I love Zach Sealer. I think Kenneth Grant is doing well. Matt Dickerson would be my other top backup defensive performer. They're solid. They're solid in the front 7. And they got some backups that can hold it down as starters. Willie Gay is is the top performer at camp. He's just very impactful every day. If it wasn't politics involved, he'd probably be pushing for a starting spot.
I love the professionalism that Willie Gay Jr. brings to this team.
I think it's the energy that's really more important. He's an energy guy, and they need that. They need that on all levels of the team.
Miami Herald's Omar Kelly, what are you working on this week? What can we be looking for from you this week as far as Dolphins are concerned?
I'm for tomorrow's paper. I'm writing basically my top 10 takeaways from week 2, the padded version of training camp. So give you kind of a weekly update of how training camp has been going.
Check him out on social media and, of course, on the Miami Herald's website. It is at Omar Kelly. Omar, thank you for blessing us today.
So thank you.
Have a good rest of your work day. It sounds weird to say that on a Sunday.
I'm so happy that he gets out so early now. He's able to enjoy the rest of his day.
I don't know about enjoy.
I don't know about enjoy. But I love you guys when you do radio shows. So anytime.
Appreciate it, Omar. Thanks for listening.
Much love, Omar. Everything you do. That's Omar Kelly, one of the best in South Florida when it comes to the Dolphins, when it comes to social media, when it just comes to being our dude, that is Omar Kelly.